And we have some other outdoor leaders in Blue Star Family staff joining today. Awesome. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Richard. Hi, Diana. Hi, Karen. There's Emily. Hi, Emily. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started here in in a minute or two. Let a few more people trickle in. If you do not mind, go ahead and please mute your microphone so that we don't get any reverb from the mics. And if you want to go ahead and drop in the chat who you are and where you're coming from for today's event. We have people from all over the country. We have Miss Aurora Talent from Miami. Welcome. Sheila. Hi, Sheila, from all the way from sunny LA. David, I met you at the last event in Norfolk, right? Yes. Yes. Welcome, David. Good to see you again. We have Julie coming in for Louisiana. Welcome. Diana's from Washington State, Puget Sound. Very nice. Richard is our newest outdoor leader. He's coming in from Rapid City, South Dakota. All right, team. So we have a fun-filled schedule for today. So we may have more people popping in as we get started, but I would like to kick things off with us.
Hey,
So once
Ashley,
again, yes, go ahead, Vicki.
can you can you make Kayla co-host and then she can let people in while you're doing the intro, please?
Yes,
Thank you. All right, awesome. Sorry,
absolutely.
quick
Give me one
housekeeping.
second. Thanks for your patience, team. All right, Kayla, I just handed over. It's just the host. So you are on host privileges. Perfect. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Ashley Stevens. I am the Senior Manager of the Family Impact Programs here at Blue Star Families, and I am beyond thrilled and filled with joy to launch our first online event, bringing all of our outdoor enthusiasts across the country together in this space to celebrate the outdoors for our military families. We have families from every corner of the U.S. today represented, so really excited to have such a diverse group. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things and reminders before we get started. We do request that we keep your microphones muted during the presentations and while our speakers are presenting. This just helps with any reverb or any background noise and distractions. But if you do have questions, we have our amazing outdoor manager who is going to be in our chat today. Her name is Kayla, who will be answering any questions that you have. Any information you may be looking for, she will be engaging with you guys in the chat section during the presentations, as well as our other presenters. But we will have about 10 to 15 minutes at the end of today's presentation for open communication, questions, and just an opportunity to meet all of our amazing presenters more intimately. So that said, I would like to do just a quick introduction of what our program is and also the partners we have on our call today. So this is our Military Families Outdoor Program. This organization and this program, we are partnered and we're privileged to be partnered with the National Park Service and Wilderness Inquiry. And we are all together working in a team to connect military families with the beautiful benefits of the great outdoors. Through our collaboration, we offer a bunch of different enriching outdoor experiences that are accessible, inclusive, and meaningful for all families of all ages and all abilities from every corner of the United States. So I'm really excited to have everyone represented today here on this call. And we have two representations from each of the organizations who will be presenting. So what I would like to do to get us started, we're going to introduce Dory Stolley, who is our incredible outdoor leader of the Virginia State, who will be leading us with our first presentation today. A quick bio of Dory's amazing work. So Dory's first puppet, Sunshine L'Orange, it's quite mischievous and articulated things that Dory wasn't allowed to say. So it began with a joyful journey of expression and that plays and continues to stay, and that Dory incorporates into her outdoors and Blue Star Connect Outdoor families. Dory began camping and exploring nature at a young age thanks to Girl Scouts and her childhood neighborhood kid pack. She loves to birdwatch, kayak, hike, and backpack. Over the years, she's worked at times as an environmental educator and for years as a biologist in Texas, Washington, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Virginia. Now based in Suffolk, along running with Blue Star Connect Outdoor events. Dory volunteers and teaches school children about nature in their vicinity and facilitates outdoor exploration. Dory is passionate about ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to engage in the outdoors, removing barriers to participations, and creating community. She believes that the enjoyment of the nature of the outdoor recreation unites people, empowers them, and sparks joy. So in a silent welcome and round of applause, please welcome Dory to the screen.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And thank you to Sunshine L'Orange for introducing me to puppets that have been a lifelong love. But I also have to thank my mom. I think puppet love must run in my family. My mom was a librarian and she made a puppet corner in her library. So thanks, Mom. Thanks, Sunshine. So why puppets in the outdoors? Why puppets in the outdoors? Well, puppets are easy to relate to. They can be your companions in adventure and discovery. They can represent local wildlife, and I really highly recommend if you're going to use puppets in the outdoors that you should select animals that are near you, that are in your region, that are in your state. That's a great way to start because you'll also be able to see them outside. Everyone loves that. Puppets can also draw out introverted or shy children. So it's a great way to include everyone. Puppets, you can bring them outside and you can bring them inside, unlike your local wildlife, which either you should not, or it's a really bad idea to bring inside. So leave those outside. And finally, puppets spark joy. So what I'm going to talk about the next few minutes is how to use puppets for your outdoor adventures. I'm going to talk about 3 ways or 3 times really to prepare to go outdoors, when you're outdoors, and when you return home. Presentation about puppets, there's an awful lot of just people speaking here. Well, thank you for joining us, Frog. Very welcome. Let's see. Are there any other puppets out there? If you have a puppet, hold it up. Let's see. Okay. Well, Frog, could you help me demonstrate about going outdoors, preparing to go outdoors? Oh, love to. Yeah, love to. Okay. Well, what's one thing you need to keep in mind if you're going to go outdoors, if you want to see wildlife? Oh, right. Quiet. Yes. Not so much screaming. Be quiet because then you can see wildlife and hear birds and use all your senses. Yeah. And also, what are we gonna bring? Oh, right. Well, let's decide what we're gonna bring. What should we bring? I'm gonna wear a little frog backpack and flies. I'd like to bring some flies to snack on. You should probably bring something else. Okay, so we're gonna bring some snacks for frogs and people. How about like granola bars? That sound good. Whatever you want, it's fine with me. Water. Frogs need water. We and humans need water too. We'll bring our backpacks with water bottle and with some food in it. And we're gonna go for a hike in the woods and we're gonna be quiet so we can hear stuff. That sounds pretty good, Frog. So thank you very much for helping us get ready for this trip. Oh, you're welcome. But I have one question. I'm just a little worried. Well, what are you worried about? I know this big kid's going. What if I can't keep up with the big kids? Are you gonna just leave me behind? I'm afraid. Don't worry about that, Frog. You know, when we go hiking, everybody stays together. We go fast and we go slow. Actually, more of the time we go slow because we're looking around and everybody stays together. Okay, do you get that? Yeah, okay. Everyone stays together. All right. And thank you, Frog, for participating. You're welcome. Bye. So that's preparing to go outdoors. But what about once you get outdoors? Who wants to help me demonstrate that? Who do we have here? Which puppet's going to help with that? Who do you think? Oh, well, I see that Karen and her family have their puppets ready. And you're right. Yes, it's Squirrel. Give me a high five, Squirrel. Oh, yeah. We've got Gray Squirrel. Definitely, because Squirrel loves to go. Yeah, I want to go outside. Yeah, let's go outside. Let's pretend we're outside now. Okay, we got Squirrel and we got Raccoon too, I see out there. So when you're going outdoors, you can use your puppets to model good behavior and to teach about wildlife. And they're also very good companions. I mean, check out this squirrel. Who wouldn't want to go with this squirrel? Take this squirrel with them and have it show them things and experience things with them. Really wonderful. When you're outdoors, let's say we're hiking along, squirrel. Yeah, we're hiking along. We're hiking along. Well, squirrel can actually teach everyone things. Now, you're wondering who is operating this puppet in your family? Well, honestly, I recommend puppets for everyone. Definitely the kids, but adults, if you're game for it, you put that puppet, wear that puppet, and have them teach you a few things. Yeah, okay, we're going on the trail now. Let's keep going. All right, we're on our hike, forest hike. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, what do you want to tell us about? Hey, I see my cousins up in the trees. Yeah, they're in the oak trees because they like to eat acorns. Like what I got here is an acorn. Yeah, I see you got your acorn there. Yeah, and we like beech nuts and walnuts and hickory, and we'll eat some mushrooms, but you should not. Okay. Yeah, you don't know what. No, don't eat the mushrooms. Well, probably don't eat the acorns either. Yeah, just leave them for the squirrels. So, are you going to show us anything in the woods? Well, yeah. All right, we're walking along. Look up. Look at the trees. So you see that big thing of leaves, a ball of leaves that looks like a nest? I do see that. It is a nest, but it's not a bird nest. Most people think it's a bird nest, but no, my cousins are up there in those nests made out of leaves because we like to make nests out of leaves for have our babies in, but also if it's cold, we can get all cuddly in there. And I got one last thing to show you and teach you. All right, what is that, squirrel? You're behind? No, it's my tail. Look at my tail. Oh, your tail. Yeah, what about your tail? See how fluffy that is? It's super fluffy, really fluffy. Well, I like to wrap that over myself when it's cold. It makes a nice blanket. How about that? Anyone else have their blanket on their body, huh? Well, thank you very much, Squirrel. That's a good job. Thank you for helping with that. Yeah, you're welcome. Bye, everyone. So that's how you might use a puppet when you're outdoors in nature. But the third thing is you can use puppets when you get back home. If the puppet's gone with you on this adventure, they can bring memories back and reinforce things that you've learned. And so who's going to help me with this one? All right, someone jumped onto the floor. Well, so who do you think is going to help with this one? It's Bear. Oh, look at that. Oh, hey, are there any cubs out there? What do you mean by cubs? You think there's more bears out there? No, cubs, like young ones. Any young ones? Hi, I'm a bear cub. I'm a young one too. Well, thanks, Bear. Would you demonstrate? Would you tell me about the camping trip we went on? Oh, yeah, we went on a great camping trip, and it was fun, wasn't it, Dory? Yes, it was really fun. What? And I was a little scared at first. Why were you scared? Well, it was dark and there were strange noises and stuff. So at first I was a little nervous, but it turned out to be really great. And what was your favorite thing? Oh, my favorite thing. Well, we had campfire. The campfire is great. And we roasted marshmallows. And then we turned off our headlamps and we saw the Milky Way. Oh, yeah, we saw the Milky Way all together, the whole family. And we also sang songs at the campfire. It was really great. Oh, yeah, I'm glad we did that. Huh. Well, thank you for helping me demonstrate that, Bear. Anything else you want to say? Yeah, bye to all you cubs. Bye, cubs. Thanks, Black Bear. So you may be wondering, where do you get these wonderful puppets to use? Well, come to my event. If you move to Southeastern Virginia, you can come to our monthly events here, but also I'm going to reveal some secrets about where I get them. So these very nice lifelike ones, squirrel, here's a barn owl, the raccoon over there, they come from a company called Folkmanis, and that's folk like in folk music, FOLKMANIS. And they have their own website, but you can also find them on Amazon Marketplace. Frog, where'd you come from, Frog? Frog came from Aurora Puppets, AURORA. And maybe someone will put that in chat for me. Another great one. Also, they have their own website on Amazon Marketplace. You can get your puppets from anywhere. You can get wonderful puppets from Etsy. What you need to look for is a reputable companies. You want to make sure that they are, clean materials, safe materials, and you also want to make sure it's well built. You don't want it coming apart. You want to look for things that are sewn on the outside, or you want to look for the lack of that. Actually, if you have littles at home, you don't want little things that can come off the puppet. So notice in the eagle, regal eagle, how the eye is embroidered, very safe. And yeah, and Ashley's got her regal eagle. And then with the other puppets with these eyes, they're really well attached. If you put your hand on the inside, it's covered with fabric, so you can't feel any of that. And so that's really important to make sure it's well made. So yeah, any place. But okay, you don't have to buy puppets. You can also make your own puppets. Who's made their own puppets? David? Have you? Okay, yeah, I see a lot of hands going up. Okay, making puppets can be so much fun. It doesn't have to be complicated. Okay, my absolute favorite, so easy is, can you guess? Close, Kayla. It's a paper bag puppet. So easy enough to do. This one I made in a few minutes. I didn't even have any construction paper. I just got some white paper. I had a little yellow paper, crayon on paper there. That's just taped on. The rest is glued on. Kids will just draw right on the paper or paint on it. That's fine. Or if you have things you can attach to it, that's great. You can also get natural items and glue them on. That can be a lot of fun. Now, Kayla had a good recommendation too. Easy puppets are sock puppets. You get an old sock, you get your laundry out of the dryer and you've only got one sock left. What do you do with that sock? You make a sock puppet. That's the best thing to do. And you can sew things onto it. You can embroider eyes on it. You can glue things onto it. Very, very simple. Now, what if you have a puppet emergency? Ashley, you have no puppets available. For some reason, they're all gone. You have no materials to make puppets. You have 2 backup puppets on you all of the time. And Kayla knows it's right hand and left hand. You always have emergency puppets. If you need a little extra interaction with your kids, you need a reminder, just use those hands. I know sometimes people put a little makeup on them too, and you can do that, or you can get a piece of paper and put a couple of your fingers through for legs. That's kind of fun as well, but just simply your hands, just wonderful. So to recap, puppets are a great tool to use in the outdoors. They can be really very exciting teaching tools. They can be companions. But best of all, I think, is that they spark joy and they nurture creativity in your kids and just enhance the experience for everyone. Use them before you go out to prepare for the journey, to maybe address concerns that your kids might have. Use them during the adventure to spark interest if things are lagging a little bit. Well, if the puppet's interested in something, everybody's going to be interested in it. And then afterwards, really just with a little bit of help from you, that puppet can bring that memory back for your whole family to enjoy time and time again. So I hope that all of you will get your own Sunshine L'Orange or squirrel puppet or bear, whatever you have in your vicinity, and enjoy them in the outdoors. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dory. Yes, I have my puppet from our last adventure together. And it reminds me a lot of coming to visit in Norfolk and visiting the families there. So thank you for sharing this with our families. And thank you for sharing such great insights also with our other outdoor explorers on the team. So thank you very much. All right, so we are going to move right to our next presenters today. We have the incredible Molly and Gracie from Wilderness Inquiry, who's going to be presenting for the next part. Just a quick bio of our 2 next presenters. So Molly Libra is the Day and Military Families Program Coordinator at Wilderness Inquiry. As a proud mom of a veteran, she's passionate about contributing to the well-being of military families. Through her position at Wilderness Inquiry, she helps plan and coordinate canoe-mobile events across the country, connecting military families to each other through experiences in nature. And I know a few of you on this call have experienced those events. The canoe-mobile events are extremely magical and a lot of fun. So Gracie Henderson is our outdoor leader with Wilderness Inquiry. She is the She guides outdoor experiences for military families. This past summer, she's led kayak and canoe camping trips in partnership with Blue Star Families, helping strengthen the bonds between military families through outdoor adventures. She's also worked on Blue Star Focus Canoe Rig, the Blue Star Focus Canoe Mobile Rig this fall, bringing military families together and connecting them to nature. Gracie herself comes from a military family, and her personal experience fuels her passion for helping others in the military community and engage with the outdoors. Thank you, Molly and Gracie. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Appreciate the introduction. So Gracie and I today are going to talk about nature scavenger hunt, and you're going to get a chance to engage in this activity with us. Gracie, were you ready to talk about it?
I am ready.
Cool.
Thank
All right, I'm going to mute.
you, Ashley. It is so nice to get to speak with all of you. I'm super excited about our activity, which, as Molly said, is a nature scavenger hunt. So in just a little bit, what we're going to do is we're going to have you all head outside and find some objects in nature that you feel connected to or that you find interesting. If you have our nature scavenger hunt sheet, you'll see on there some examples of what you might be looking for is something yellow, different types of seed, anything that has a smell or different leaves. But you can also personalize this to your own interests, like something that's your favorite color or something like that. But before we head outside, I want to say that if you're not with a parent or an adult, we are going to ask you to stay inside. And instead, what you could do is you could think about what you would love to find out in nature, or you can head to your window and take a peek outside, see if you see anything that piques your interest that you could come back and share with us. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a 5-minute timer for our scavenging. And then afterwards, we're going to have a little discussion about some of the things we saw and found. And one last thing before we get started is I wanted to talk about the value of this activity. And the idea comes from that even when you're apart from your family, we can typically find some commonality in the outdoors. So to us, it's a way to have a shared experience, even from a distance. So if all that sounds good, I think we're ready to get started with our timer. Does that sound good, Molly?
Yeah, Ashley is going to share the timer up on the screen, and you all feel free to turn off your cameras if you like while you go out. Gracie and I will be here. We can answer any questions, or if you just want to chat, we'll be here. And in 5 minutes, we will regroup to do a little share out of what we find.
Perfect. Can you see the timer, guys?
Thank you so much, Ashley.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, 5 minutes.
Ashley, is it possible to share the sound on it? There was a nature sound background.
Give me 1 second. I'll connect the audio. I'm not sure if I can connect the sound. I'm so sorry.
We're not worried about it. We'll look at
No
the
worries.
beautiful nature. Thanks.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna run outside, guys.
Can you hear that?
No. Wait, did she just ask if we could hear that?
I think Juliana did.
Can
Juliana
you hear that?
can.
Huh.
I don't. Are you trying to play nature sounds for us?
Yeah.
I was thinking it might be real nature. You're outside.
All right, we're about halfway through, so 2.5 minutes left, and we'll join back up. All right, 1 minute. As you return, feel free to jump back on with your cameras, but also no pressure. If you want to keep it off. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in our little nature scavenger hunt. I would love to do a little share out here. If you're comfortable sharing something you found or something you thought of, or, of course, you did not have to go outside. That's okay if you didn't. I would love to actually start with Gracie, and then if anybody else wants to share, that's fine. But I know Gracie's got something, so wonderful. And Juliana, I see you got your hand raised as well. Go ahead, Gracie.
All right, so I did my scavenger hunt before we sat down for the meeting, but my family in my yard, we've raised chickens pretty much my whole life. So I just brought one of our eggs. This one's speckled. We have tons of different kinds. The cutest ones are like little and blue. But to me, it's just something in my backyard that I felt the most connected with. So that's why I chose my egg.
I love that. It's a beautiful egg too. I wish you would have had one of the blue speckled ones, but this was really good too. Yeah,
I
thank
think we ate all of those.
oh, thank you for sharing, Gracie. Juliana, would you like to share?
So I did not go outside because my phone will die and turn off because we have no Wi-Fi the moment you walk out the door. But this background that I showed, this blue flower right here behind my head, this morning as I was walking my kids out to the bus stop, I noticed one had reseeded itself in my front yard. It's like 3 inches tall and it has one lone little blue flower on it that
Oh,
is out front. So while it's not that one, it's one of its babies. Like the seeds have reseeded. It's been 30s and 40s a lot with the weather here. So to have something blooming on November 18th, like all by itself on a tiny little plant that's only this big, and that this will get 3 feet tall and 3 feet wide off of one plant. So it's just like things want to grow, and it just caught my eye, and blue is my favorite color. So
Ah,
that's my final answer.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I love when something unexpected happens like that. You know, it's November, what, 18th, 19th, and it shouldn't be blooming right now. And there it is, and hopefully brought you a little joy, as I'm sure it did. Does anybody else want to share? Julie, do you have your hand up? No, you don't. You do?
Yeah.
Okay, this kind of words on the top of the screen. I couldn't see.
I was just going to share really quickly because I'm in the opposite climate, and I walked outside and picked a Satsumo, which is like a mandarin in Louisiana. So these are growing in a tree in my backyard, and don't tell my kids because they want to be in charge of picking all of them, but I did pick one, and it's going to be my snack after this too. So, so
That's amazing. I
it's
love
kind of yellow. It's my something orange, I guess, but
very cool. I can't imagine having oranges on the trees here. Anybody else want to share?
I can share, Molly. So I'm actually up at my property in North Carolina. It's because we are moving, but I have these 100-foot tall, 200-year-old pine trees. I have now 17 of them, and they produce the largest pine cones I've ever seen in my entire life. I have thousands of these in my backyard, and I actually collect them and then donate them to local artists who do like Etsy wreaths this time of year. They bake them and bleach them, and they create like really cool pieces of artwork. So rather than them get thrown in the landfill or in the trash, I had people who just randomly come to my house and come pick up these beautiful giant pine cones. So it's just really cool, like to connect with other artists in my community through nature.
That is so cool. It's giant. Can you hold it next to your head?
It's really big, like it's like my whole hand. And this is
Cool.
like, and they're all sticky because this time of year too, the trees sap. So it's really cool.
Nice. Anybody else want to share?
I have a woolly bear worm on my front porch, but I'm not picking that up.
A woolly bear worm.
Yes, it's a black fuzzy little worm. Caterpillar maybe? I need
Yeah.
to, yeah, and it turns into a beautiful moth. But it's just sitting on my front porch.
I love that. But you're not picking it up. Are you afraid to pick up creatures like that?
No, I'm not afraid, but I am prone to allergic reactions. So
Yeah, good idea then.
Yeah.
And I see in the chat, Meg said, I see the last of the leaves on the trees that have turned yellow. Gorgeous. Minneapolis is gorgeous right now. All right. Did anybody else say something in the chat that I missed? Oh, Kayla, I see you put that in the chat. Vicky, did you grab something? Did you get something?
I didn't. I did
I
not.
thought you said you were gonna imagine something.
I'm looking out. Well, I was actually thinking, it's funny enough. So I was thinking about a sunrise for us, like behind my house. I love to go out in the morning, especially now that the time has changed. We have a pool, and then like we have a man-made, because it's Florida. It's a lake. It's man-made lake back there that probably houses a lot of gators. But I love watching the sunrise come up this time of year. I don't know what it is with the fall, what you call fall though in Florida, which isn't much of one, but it's just so beautiful, and it's like one of those like Zen moments for me. So I love to go outside and just like take a deep breath in the morning, watch the sunrise before like the hectic day starts and all the things, right? And so that's kind of like a grounding moment for me that I love to do. So
I love that. Where I am, there's a hill forest behind my house, and I don't get to see the actual like the sunrise that kind of sneaks around. But I can see the sunset, and there's something about the sunsets this time of year. It is so like magnificent. The colors are different than summertime. There's something really special, which is really great. We refer to November here as like being really gray. And so getting those sunsets is, yeah, very grounding. Thank you for sharing. Well, unless somebody else is just like really excited to share, we can wrap up the sharing portion. Anyone else last call? Okay, well, I love this activity. As Gracie mentioned, you can tweak it. We sent in the chat, and I think it was sent out to you ahead of time. We've got the nature scavenger hunt that you can print out, but also I think it's really fun to go out with kids and search for signs of whatever season it is. And that might look very different in different regions, obviously. So if you're apart, maybe a parent is deployed or in training somewhere, it's a really neat thing to be able to say like, hey, let's go out and you find a sign of fall where you are, and I'll find a sign of fall here, and we can compare. So it's a way you can connect up while you're apart, and also a great way to connect together. Just going out on a walk, it makes it really fun and exciting. And you could use your puppets too. Puppets also love to look for things out in nature. So signs of the season. And I also really love doing gratitude nature hunts. So just things that absolutely bring you joy. And sometimes you have to get down on the ground really low to see things, or, like reach up into a tree. It's fun to get nice and close with nature. So, yeah, that's and touch grass. It's so good. And actually, there's scientific research that touching the earth, feeling the earth is grounding. So, yeah, if you can get barefoot or get your hands down on the earth, it's a really great activity for just finding some zen outside. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up and pass it back to Ashley. Just want to say thank you all so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Molly. Thank you, Gracie. Screen round of applause for you guys. So much fun. Thank you for getting us outside for, even if it's just for a minute. Sometimes it's easy to get lost behind the computer. So thank you for incorporating that break for us today. All right, team. So we are going to be moving on to our last and final group for today. We have two outstanding representatives from National Park Service joining us today. We have Rebecca Toy, who is the Interpretation and Engagement Coordinator, WASO interpreter, and we also have Mark Whitefoot with us today. So I will do their quick bios and we will get started. So Becca Toy is an Interpretation and Engagement Coordinator in the Washington Support Office of National Park Service. In this position, Becca helps coordinate national programs like Military Family Outdoors and other organizations such as Outdoor Explorers for All, Buddy Bison, Every Kid Outdoors, naturalization ceremonies, and historic weapon programs. Becca started in the NPS as an intern at the Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Park in 2013. Since then, she has worked at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Cape Hatteras National Seashore, Richmond National Battlefield, Maggie Walker National Historic Site. Prior to returning to NPS, Becca has completed her PhD at William and Mary in Virginia. Becca believes that the national park is good for people and good for our nation, and is passionate about ensuring that everyone has access to those benefits. And then Mark Whitefoot is a National Park Ranger at the Richmond National Battlefield Park. Ranger Mark has over 9 years of experience connecting the public to the night sky and the stars above them. Today, Ranger Mark works in education at Richmond National Battlefield in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you, Team NPS. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Ashley. I think Mark's going to put up some photos for us to talk about.
Yes, I'm working on it. Sorry.
But I will talk. No, you're good. I will talk while Mark does that. We use Microsoft platforms here in the Park Service, so whenever we get on Zoom, we're like having to refine things. So I'm going to give most of our time to Ranger Mark, but I wanted to take a second just to talk a little bit about what the Park Service does, and why national parks are special, because a lot of times we think we have heard of the Park Service before, right? It's pretty common, but when it comes to actually understanding what makes a national park different from like a state park or a local park or a playground or Dollywood, things can get lost. I'm from Philadelphia, and I spent my entire childhood going to places like Valley Forge National Historic Site, and I had no idea that they were National Park Service sites. So as a federal agency, we are tasked with preserving and sharing places and stories that have national significance. So we preserve places that you've definitely heard of, right? Like the Grand Canyon. But we also preserve small places like the Maggie Walker National Historic Site here in Richmond, the Flight 93 Memorial in Pennsylvania, and a lot of places in between. More than 100 national park sites have military histories. And in fact, some of the first national parks, like Yellowstone, were preserved by service members before our agency existed. So we are really passionate about connecting active duty service members and veterans and their families to our parks. And we want you to know that these are places that are here for you. And that anywhere you go with the military, there's going to be a park near you and a friendly face with your, local park ranger. I'll drop this in the chat later, but we have a tool that will actually help you see on a map where national park sites are in relation to all military installations in the United States. So that's a really quick and easy way to figure out what parks are accessible to you wherever you go. And then active duty and veteran families are invited to our parks, and they actually can get a free pass. So active duty service members can get free annual passes, and veterans can get free lifetime passes. And you can get those at any national park site that has an entrance fee. I also wanted, if you were to go to the next slide, Mark, shout out to Blue Star Families for having all of these lovely photos of families enjoying their national parks this year. We wanted to highlight that parks are great places to connect with your family. And we have programs built in to help you do just that. So things like Military Families Outdoors, but also if there's no Military Families Outdoors program near you, you can take advantage of the Junior Ranger program, which is totally free, and it facilitates a park visit for kids and their families. So they can connect to each other and also to the park itself. I see, Juliana, I think that was you. I was just telling Mark that your kids are new Ranger Pete fans after their visit. So they're over here on the right.
Oh,
They were absolutely fangirling by the end of the day. Just saying, no pressure, sir.
We've all been there. Like Pete has a lot of fans these days. But the only other thing I wanted to highlight super quick is that parks are good for you and for kids in a lot of different ways. But one way that I really wanted to highlight at this time of year is that being outside and in nature can help improve happiness, right? So we know that the holidays can be difficult for a lot of reasons. Maybe you can't be home with your family. Maybe you can't go home to visit your extended family, or maybe the holidays are just like stressful for, many, many different reasons. But just spending 5 minutes outside walking can improve mood, self-esteem, and relaxation. And frequent exposure to nature can reduce anxiety and depression. So going out and getting into your parks, whether you are staying home for the holidays or traveling for the holidays, can actually be sort of a strategy for promoting overall well-being throughout the holiday season. And then there's a lot of other ways for families to connect with one another by visiting parks. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Ranger Mark to talk about those things.
oh, excellent. I'm sorry. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Well, once again, I'm Ranger Mark. I am absolutely delighted to be here. I have spent, as I said in my introduction, I've had 9 years of experience helping to connect people to the night sky, and I don't get many opportunities to do it. So I was really, really excited when Vicki and Becca reached out to me for this opportunity here, and it struck me as especially appropriate given that some of the folks who I'm sure are benefiting from Blue Star Family's efforts are not necessarily in the same geographic location, right? And stargazing is something that we can do across places and across time to connect to one another when we can't necessarily even be there in person. Now, if we can be there together in person, then that's obviously going to be even better. But this is going to be something that we can do regardless of that. So I feel like it can be a bit of a big ask to get people to go outside at night in this day and age when our homes are so comfortable and there's so much, wonderful streaming entertainment coming into most of our houses that why would we want to get out there and go outside at night? And I think that observing the night sky is something that humans have been doing naturally as long as we have existed, and that if you give it a try, you'll find that it's almost like like they say, like riding a bike. You almost never forget. The night sky also, when we start observing it, is going to ask us questions that we cannot possibly know the answer to without doing some real exploration. And you all see me in front of you today as a park ranger, and I can promise you that I would not be a park ranger today had it not been for one experience that I had as a young person looking up at the night sky and being delighted with the overhead passing of satellites and being able to count them one night. And it started a lifelong fascination with the night sky and observing the night sky, which eventually, long story short, got me a job with the National Park Service. So you never know quite where these things are going to take you. Now, I understand, it's hard to want to get outside these days, and it can seem like there's a lot of big hurdles to clear if we want to start observing the night sky in a meaningful way. And I am going to provide to you a set of tools that is part of one of the programs that Becca mentioned earlier that you all can use, which again, I want to emphasize is free of charge, completely, to start exploring the night sky regardless of how much light pollution there may be in the environment that you find yourself in or where on Earth you are. So a couple of things that I want to talk about before you get too excited out there. For one thing, I'm going to provide you with my contact information so that you can get this particular resource, which is, I'm holding up in front of me. Hopefully you can all see it here, the Junior Ranger Night Explorer book, okay, which has lots of activities for all age groups. And again, regardless of whether you're in a place that's particularly dark or particularly light polluted, but we want to keep a few things in mind before we get out there, right? We want to make sure that we're well prepared. So we want to check the weather, make sure that we are dressed appropriately, check for cloud cover, right? If we're going to go outside and try to observe the stars, but the night is completely clouded over, we're not going to have a lot of success in doing that. So we want to pick our nights and make sure that we're going to be comfortable and that we actually have a decent chance. Additionally, we want to have flashlights. It does take time for our eyes to adjust to darkness, but safety first always. We want to be able to see where we're going when we're going outside. Now, a red light can be very, very helpful as far as preserving your night vision, because in order to complete the Night Explorer books, you will need to have a little bit of light with you. Now, if you don't have that, it's not going to be the end of the world. Now, also, many of us have the astronomy apps, stargazing apps for our phones and our tablets, and this stuff can be extremely helpful as well. But make sure that your app has a night mode on it if you're going to be using one outside. Now, if you don't have one of those inside this handy dandy Junior Ranger Night Explorer book, there happens to be an activity that will allow you to put together this little tool right here, which is called a planisphere, which will allow you to predict what constellations will be above you in the night sky on any given day of the year at any time, and tell you where in the sky to look for them. So if you don't even have one of those apps, we've got you covered right here in our Junior Ranger Explorer. Now, last thing I'm going to say before I move on to the next slide is you may have some things that are laying around your house that could be very, very helpful in exploring the night sky. Like a simple pair of binoculars or a spotting scope. Just pointing that up at something like the moon or the Great Orion Nebula, if you know where to find it, can reveal an incredible amount of detail that you had no idea was even there in the first place. Now, if you do live in a place where you don't see a lot of stars, there is an activity in the book all about light pollution, right? If you're going to successfully explore the night sky, you've got to understand how to find light pollution and how to get away from it as well. Now, one of the things that I think is really, really important when it comes to being interested in the night sky is seeing the opportunities that we have in our own lives to contribute to light pollution, or maybe make some decisions that will decrease the amount of light pollution in our everyday lives. And one thing that I'm going to put out there right for you real quick is, folks, if we're in our homes at night, we can roll our curtains down and trap all that light inside our homes and not disrupt the nocturnal environment around us. But these kinds of exercises will help you to see where light pollution exists and where you can help to maybe reduce it a little bit. Now, if you do live in a more rural area, there are going to be activities in there that you're readily going to be able to participate in, like the How Dark is the Sky app, or activity rather, where you're going to find one of two constellations, depending on the season, and draw the stars that you can see from your location. And I think this is one of the ones that could be really useful if you're separated by a great distance, right? You can go out and you can draw the Big Dipper, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere in the wintertime, and your loved one somewhere else can draw the stars that they can see, and you can compare the drawings to one another and kind of connect in that way. Now, how to get your Night Explorer book, and I will make sure that this information gets put in the chat. You can just email me at markwhitefoot@nps.gov and just let me know how to mail that to you. And what I'm going to suggest that you do is once you have completed the activities, mail it back to me at the address that's right there on the screen, and I'll make sure that goes in the chat as well. And with your completed book, after I check it out, I will send you back one of our very cool Junior Ranger Night Explorer iron-on patches, which has a little key that'll help you find the Big Dipper and Polaris all the time. So I want to thank everybody again for your time this afternoon. And if anybody has any questions for me in the Q&A, I will certainly be around to do that. Oh, last thing. I said I was going to give you 5,000 reasons to explore the night sky, and those 5,000 reasons are the 5,000 stars that are visible from anywhere on the planet Earth. So go out there and check them out. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ranger Mark. How inspiring. Really excited about that. What a phenomenal resource. Skype round of applause, please. Fantastic. I know I see the comment section just blowing up with inspiration and ideas. I think everyone here is in one way or another either inspired or curious, which is exactly what we wanted to achieve today in this call. So thank you so much. We do have about 8 minutes still on the clock, being mindful of time. I would like to open the floor. If anyone here has any questions they would like to ask any of our presenters today, you're more than welcome to either raise your hand and we can ask them directly while they're here with us. Perfect. Thank you for putting all that information in the chat, team. Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions? It could be ideas, inspiration, maybe places to visit.
I do see a question for me regarding how to get the book, if you don't mind my jumping in.
Yep, go ahead.
You can just email me, and I'm gonna type my email address in the chat right now. And just put Night Explorer book in the subject line of the email. And please do include your mailing address. And again, all of this is going to be free of charge. I'll obviously include my return address so that you can return it back to me for your Night Explorer badge.
Awesome. Thank you, Ranger Mark. I know we have a few outdoor leaders from our program on the call, and I'm sure they're getting some inspiration ideas for their programs to bring the night sky activities to their locations, their families. We're located on the Space Coast with the Space Force Base, so we're extremely connected with a lot of outdoor space enthusiasts, especially military space enthusiasts within our connection, so within our community. So yes, thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? Any thoughts, any ideas you'd like to share with the group? Molly?
Yeah, I was just going to say it was interesting, Ranger Mark, when you were talking about light pollution. I don't remember ever hearing about that when I was growing up, and I'm so happy to hear it being talked about in many places now. So it's just like we can all do our own little part to help. So I'm thankful that you are bringing
Yes.
it up, and that you're
Right on board. Preach the gospel of light pollution. Thank you.
And then we have a question in the chat from Julie. Where can we find the MFO resources? We have a great website. I'm going to pull that up and put that in the chat. And then scavenger hunts to download. I believe that is also on our website. I'll also put that in the chat.
Yes, at the top of the website that Kayla's putting in the chat, there's a resource button on there. Please check out the whole website. There's tons of cool stuff on there. There's links to all of our partners, Armed Services YMCA, YMCA Wilderness Inquiry. It also Blue Star Families Connect Outdoors page. And then there's some awesome blogs. There's cool pictures. It's really awesome. And it's always, we're adding new things as we go along and continue with this program as well. So it's a huge resource for anybody to access.
Awesome. Thank you, Vicki. And you checked off my last thing about the MFO program. So thank you for touching on that with the website. So yes, team, we're also on Facebook with our Blue Star Connect Outdoors program. We're constantly sharing resources, events, activities, our partners events on that page. It's become extremely active lately, which is really exciting. We have over 800 military families in that group. And then also we do have our neighborhood resource. So wanted to put that plug in there as well. Kayla, if you could pull that website link for the families. It is the website that you guys use to register for this event. However, we do put all of our events on that page where you can register, get more information, as well as send messages to the team directly through the platform. So it's a wonderful platform. And there's also other Blue Star Family activities on the website and other programs that we offer. We have a plethora of different programs across the different divisions of our team that you can send your families to, or your military connected friends, family, et cetera, to use those resources to enhance their well-being. That said, guys, if there is no other questions, I just want to give one big thank you to all of our presenters today. They did an absolutely fantastic job. I'm so excited to see how you guys take what they taught us today and implement it, whether within your own family, in your programs, your line of work, et cetera. So really looking forward to see you guys grow. This was our very first event, so we are looking forward to hopefully hosting more in the future. So if you can think of any other future ideas, topics, presentations, or if you want to present, please reach out to myself or Vicki. We would love to have more ideas to continue this going. We believe that virtual work has a huge impact and has a lot of outreach as our communities grow across the nation, especially those who are unable to come in person to an event. So I just want to say thank you guys all so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Blue Star Family team, for making this happen internally. And thank you for everyone who showed up to join us for our first event. Thank you all so much.
Be on the lookout for an email.